What's up? Um, yeah, I'm in quarantine right now, as everyone is, and I'm a little bit bored. So I was like, why not review America? I mean, why not? There's literally nothing else to do. So yeah, I went to America back in 2015, I think, and we did a East Coast tour. So we started down in Florida, moved up through Daytona, Savannah, and then flew to New York. So it was a 3-4 week trip. I think it was 3 weeks. And yeah, here's my pros and cons. I've done a pros and cons list right here. So I'm going to kind of alternate because I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. There's 5 pros, 5 cons. So I'll go pro, con, pro, con, pro, con, pro, con. Well, no, I'll start with cons because then we'll end on a pro, which hopefully people, if they watch that far, will remember me being nice about America. Anyway, so one of the cons that I found, which a lot of my friends like just disagree with completely, is I found all the food salty, and I mean literally like apart from all the fresh food like fruit and veg, they seem to add a lot more salt into just standard foods that we have over here. For instance, like we when in Savannah, we went to this restaurant called like Spanky's or something. I can remember I had a photo of it sometime. And I was like, oh, I'll order a pizza. Pizza's always a safe option. It's basically just bread, tomato, and cheese. You really can't go wrong with it. And when I got it, I was like, this is okay, but there seems to be something different with it. And then I realized it's just salty. Like, you don't need to add salt to pizza. It's just 3 ingredients. But they've decided to go in and, just keep doing the salt like Bender did in Futurama. And I just think you could not. I mean, I know I watched. No, neither of them. I listened to a podcast by Rhett and Link, and in that, um, they said how all the food in Britain's bland. So I think it's a thing for us. We're used to having like bland food. So then when Americans come over, they're like, oh, there's no flavor here, whereas we are used to there being bland, so we think there's flavor there. So when we go to America and they chuck in all this salt, we're like, whoa, this is too much salt. I don't know. And I'm surprised we have an obesity rate in the UK, or as high as it is obesity rate in the UK. When in America they add a lot of salt to food. Like even at McDonald's, like we went there and I was like, oh, I'll just have chicken nuggets, fries, milkshake. Literally it's basically what I have over here. And like the fries, understandable. I mean, they put salt on it here. There was more in America, but it is what it is. But the nuggets, it was like you bite into it and you get salt, salt. Oh, little bit of chicken, salt, 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 and it wasn't fun. I just wasn't a fan of it. So I think I tended to just eat like sandwiches and um yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it for salty foods. One of the pros is the lemonade. Now the issue, I'm I'm a very well, I say very. I'm quite a picky eater. I'm not that good. I'm trying to force myself to eat foods that I don't like. So I'm not a fan of fish, but I'm trying to force myself to eat it because I think it's more of a mental thing than a taste thing. Um, but like another thing, I don't understand how people like it is fizzy drinks. I can't. I get the flavor of fizzy drinks, great. It's just sugar water, really. But the actual fizz, the carbonation is, it hits the back of your throat and it's disgusting. And in the UK, lemonade is just fizzy lemon water. Whereas in America, it's still very sweet. It's like even sweeter, like lemon juice. So there's no fizz, and that's something I like because then I was quite happy to go up to somewhere and be like, "Yo, can I have a lemonade, please?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, here you go." Because I don't normally do that over here because it's fizzy and I just never order them. So that's one of the. It's a small thing, but it's one of the things that I liked that I could ask for a lemonade. when I go up to a restaurant and ask the waiter or go up to the bar. It was just a nice little thing that I could do. Right, yep. Speaking of drinks, one of the things I'm not a fan of, and again, Rhett and Link pointed this out. So a lot of this is me defending the UK against what they said, but I mean that is what it is. With their drinks, they in the UK, if they ask, "Oh, can I have ice with?" If you ask, "Can I have ice with my drink at a bar?" They'll scoop in like with an ice cream scoop, not an ice cream scoop, like it's an ice scoop. They'll scoop up the cubes and just shove them in the glass, and they'll get about halfway up, and then you fill the rest with the drink. Whereas in America, they've got like crushed chunks of ice, and they fill it right to the top. So when they fill it with the drink, you're barely getting any juice. It's all just ice and water, and that's not that great because the weather over there is hot. Like it was 30, 40 degrees a lot of the time. And, I understand, oh, you want a bit of ice, cool you down. But you don't need that much ice. You could fill it halfway, fill it with the drink because you're getting dehydrated. So you actually want to hydrate up. I don't want to wait for my drink to melt before I drink it. I want to drink it then. Because if they do that, they just get a second order. They'd be like, yeah, can I get a second one of these? Whereas with this, I don't know. I think it's clear they're trying to cut costs. Because, they don't pay workers nearly well. You tip everyone, which I don't think is that bad of a thing. They've done a good job. They deserve the money. But I just think they don't have to... I don't know, I prefer the way in the UK where they fill it to the top and then you just put the ice in. You put a little bit of ice in. Lost my train of thought there. But yeah, leading on from that one, actually, the pros is the weather over there. It may be because we were on the East Coast, but and it was in summer, but it was sunny every day, shorts and t-shirt every day. Loved it. Didn't get sunburnt once, which was a pro, but it's just so good, I mean, here in the UK is rain, cloud, rain. Like the good weather today that I'm seeing is just it's like light grey cloud, which is really good weather here because I'm going to go for a walk for like a couple of hours and, I'm not going to, it's not cold and not rainy, which is good weather here. But in America, it was just sun. You wouldn't see a cloud at all. Like when we went in the planes, when we flew from, I think it was Savannah to New York, I don't remember. I don't think we flew through any clouds when going up. We may have gone over them, but I don't think we flew through many. Whereas in the UK, it's just you get a solid 5 minutes of just grey, just coating the plane whilst it flies through them to get above them. So yeah, the weather was great, and especially because we went to Universal, and we just stayed in the Universal bit. It was good because you could just walk around, take your time, enjoy the park, and not worry about getting rained on and having to carry a coat. You just shorts, t-shirt, wristband, and then your wallet and phone, and then that's it. That's all you need, which I really liked. Another con. This isn't against America. This is just an experience that we had, which wasn't optimal. So we were driving from, I think it was Florida to Daytona, if I remember correctly. It might not be. It might be in Daytona. Honestly, I don't know. My geographical knowledge of America isn't great. But we went through, I think it was a Jacksonville. Again, that might be wrong. But we went through one of them, and we were like, oh, well, kind of hungry. We'll stop at this McDonald's on the side. And we went in, and it was quite clear to see they weren't a huge fan of us being there. Because we're British tourists. I don't think they were a huge fan of it. So we went in and we were like, oh, can we have one chicken legend, one 6-piece chicken nugget meal, and then 2 cheeseburgers. And normally I ask for no pickles, but I was like, I'll just take them off myself. I don't want to annoy them any more than we already have. So we sat down, and then when we went in there, we sat by the window so we could see our car. And first off, some random guy tried to get into the car whilst we were looking at it, which was great. But we went in. So the doors here, you walk in. We sat just here, so you walk in, turn left, and we're basically by the door. And then the counter's like closer. And then if you go further across into the restaurant, you had one guy sitting in one corner, this other guy sitting in the furthest corner from the door. And when we sat down, our food arrived, and we were given 3 chicken legends and like 5 nuggets, and they forgot our fries. But being British, we were too scared to say anything, so we just accepted the L and ate our food. But we were eating all of that, and then the guy in the far corner just starts just yelling at us. He just goes, hey, you guys, you Brits, hey. And none of us said anything. We just ate in silence. Did not look over, did nothing, just sat there, stared down, eating, trying to get it down as quickly as possible. And in the end, he gave up and started shouting at the other guy. He just gave him his chips. It seemed like he'd bought two packs of chips, which I thought was quite smart. He'd bought like the large fries for him, and then he bought like a small one. And this guy, oh, can I have one? He's like, yeah, here you go. Just gave him the small fries, and I was like, that's kind of smart, you know. But yeah, he did that. Yeah, and then the guy tried to break into our car. A different guy tried to, like, he checked the car doors to see if it was locked. So then we got in the car very quick. I swear we were in the McDonald's for less than 7 minutes. It was a quick, just sit there, wait for our food, order on, like barely chewing, and then we got back into the car and drove off. So yeah, that was an experience. Yeah, but a pro was actually Savannah. Savannah is, out of all my holiday destinations, Savannah's my favourite place I've been to. It was just, everyone was so happy, friendly. I mean, it was such a clean, it's not very busy. It's not, I wouldn't say it's hugely touristy, because we didn't see many tourists. The hotel was great. I think we had 3 beds, so I got my own bed, which was really nice. There's a kitchen in the room. It was so good. We were by the sea as well, which I never went in the sea, but it's just cool to be by it. And that had the restaurant Spanky's, and it's like it had Fanny's Your Aunt or something as another restaurant. It was great. But if you walk around it, you find all these cool things set there. So like Forrest Gump, you know, where he's sitting on a bench and he's telling all these people who are catching the bus about his life. That bench is the specific bench isn't there, but you can see where it was filmed in this little square. Then it has a tour bus that you can get on for free, and it just rides around, and then different characters jump on the bus and tell you a bit about the area and the buildings and stuff. So like a guy pretending to be Forrest Gump, and then a guy pretending to be Charles Wesley, who was the founder of the Methodist Church, which my mum really liked. And a pirate hopped on, and it was just nice, low key. I just really liked it, you know. Not much else I can say. I just really liked Savannah. The weather was sunny every day. Yeah, Savannah's just a great place, really. There's not much else to it. Right, a con. Yeah, New York. I'm gonna merge the next 2, so we're gonna have 2 pros after this. But New York in general was, I think it's somewhere that you kind of have to go to at least once to experience it. But I wouldn't say I particularly enjoyed it. So firstly, it was the most expensive place that we stayed. In throughout the holiday, and the room was tiny. The bed, like I think we had a mini balcony, but it just viewed like the back of another skyscraper, so it wasn't great. The rooms, it's like you had a little lounge, and as you go through, you'd get like the toilet. It only had a toilet. There was no shower. And then you had two double beds, which were basically just a slightly wide single bed, like barely noticeable. So like for instance, I'm like 6 foot. I think I was about 6'1" at the time. So like I don't fit on the beds anyway. So I had to have my own bed going diagonal, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but and then my dad, I think, slept on the floor for the 2 or 3 days we were in New York. And yeah, I know this is a problem with a lot of American people have as well. It's just there's no room in New York, so all the rooms are tiny. So yeah, we went there, and then the other thing, we went to a Starbucks because we were like, yeah, let's go to a Starbucks. We're hungry. We may as well dine out here. So we got there, and I was like, oh, look, there's I'll have my breakfast. I'll get a hot chocolate, luxury hot chocolate, of course. We're in holiday. There's croissants, and I was like, oh, can I have that pain au chocolat? And the woman just kind of looked at me. The barista, I think is what they're called, just looked at me and was like, sorry, what was that? I was like, can I have a chocolate croissant? She's like, oh, okay, and then grabbed it. And that little thing just annoyed me because I was like, it's a pain au chocolat. It's like a well-known name for a chocolate croissant. Like a chocolate croissant is when you have a croissant either chocolatey dough or filled with chocolate. A pain au chocolat is where you have it's like a little rectangle oblong thing. And I don't know, it's that little thing that annoyed me. I mean, actual going around New York was really cool. We went on this tour that took us on a boat and around the city. So we went to Wall Street and the 9/11 memorial. Went on a boat that went past that lady. I can't remember what it's called. Statue of Liberty. Went up the what's it called? Empire State Building. So the tour, that was, I'd say, one of the best things we did on the holiday. It's in the top 3. Going to Savannah, Universal Parks, and then the New York tour. That's my top 3 things we did there. And it was really, yeah. But New York in general is just quite loud, clustered. I heard the F word like a lot when there. So yeah, that's my cons. And I've actually thought of another pro just then. We have 3 pros going to come, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, the people, that's one of my pros, was so nice, especially in the hotel. I mean, in the hotels, they're clearly paid to be nice to you because that's just their job. But they were really nice to us. I think we forgot to tip one once, and then we saw him the next day, and he was fine. He was happy. And we tipped him, and he was happier. But yeah, everyone was just so nice. Everyone working there, apart from the pain au chocolat lady. I mean, she didn't get off to a good start, so that wasn't particularly gonna be swayed. But everyone else was so nice. The McDonald's, yeah, I mean, all their food is really salty, as I said, but the size proportions are just funny more than anything, because in the UK we have small, medium, large, and then that's it. I think it's somewhere we saw an extra large. I can't even, probably London. Whereas in America you have small, medium, large, extra large, and then double extra large. If I remember correctly, that might be wrong, so I don't know. But we looked at my dad ordered a Coke because he likes Coke, and we saw a large Coke is larger than a large Coke in the UK. So a medium Coke in America is a large Coke in the UK, which I thought was funny. So I was like, oh, I'll go for a double extra large lemonade then. And it was huge. It was huge. It must have been like a bucket, really. It was so big. So yeah, it's just funny that the size proportions there are like ginormous at McDonald's compared to the UK, where like we think, if you ever go to Burger King and order the bacon double extra large, that's big. I can barely get through it sometimes. Over there, that's like a large and medium. So it's just crazy to see the size proportions. And then another pro was we went to the JFK station. JFK station? No, what am I on about? We went to the space station near Daytona. It was, what's it called? The NASA place, and that was really cool. Like the size of the engine, when you see a rocket, there's like 3 engines on the bottom. If you look at the size of them, you'd think, oh, a car. No, they're about the size of a bus, like in diameter. No, the diameter twice is the size of a bus, and that's huge. Like they're absolutely ginormous. And then that it just puts into perspective because they also had one of the old actual spaceships that went into space, and just seeing how big and how technical they are was like just amazing to see. I also caught Pikachu over there, which was pretty cool. Yeah, and then we had dinner with an astronaut, and we've been recommended this from, I think, our friends who'd gone there the previous year or two ago before us. So we had dinner with an astronaut, and it was a good lunch. I liked it all. It was just pizza. You can't really go wrong with that. We did that, and then yeah. So the astronaut that turned up was the former head of NASA. He was the first guy to learn to be certified in flying a helicopter and a plane at the same time. And it was just really interesting to see like what he did and how he managed to get there. Like his view was, if he ever thought he was in a rut, he's doing the same thing day out, day in, he'd stop it and try and do something else. Which was just so like when he was learning to fly a plane and a helicopter, he suddenly realised, oh, I'm just getting in these every day now. I've already passed my test. I'm just getting in them every day and flying. He's like, I'm bored, so I'm gonna become an astronaut. And then he does that, and he's like, oh, I'm kind of bored. I'll just become the head of NASA. And that was really interesting to see. And yeah, that's my review of America. Overall, it was good. I'd recommend it. Just don't go to that McDonald's. It was iffy, to say the least. Yeah, there you go.